Alright guys, it's time to talk about PENGU on the channel for the first time since June the 27th, which we had a 15% pump that day, which is nothing compared to what we're seeing right now. Now we do have some news that the SEC has acknowledged the filing for Canary Spot PENGU ETF, a Solana-based meme coin. Now, if we go back to this, we do have this on the 1 hour time frame right now, guys. At the moment, it is kind of pressing the bottom side of this flag. So I want to propose, let's see if it goes to the upside, it would probably go to about, let's say, 2.35 cents. Now, if it breaks down, it's going to be the complete opposite here. We're going to have basically a run back to about 1.45 cents, let's say. I don't think it's likely that we are going to go to the downside. I think an upside move is more likely here. Now, keep in mind, we do have to break the 2.25 cent mark here to break through this daily resistance. And yeah, I don't think it would just kind of stop in the middle between 2.25 and 2.5 cents, basically. I would say that the move would either stop here just under 2.25 and consolidate for a little bit, or it moves up to probably about 2.5 cents. Now, looking at the volume profile for PENGU, guys, I do have some good news that basically we are above the point of control here at about 1 cent. So that is actually good news. We actually got through that about 2 weeks ago, guys. Now, we are entering basically a point where there's not much volume. You can see over here, there's very, very little volume up here. So we are probably going to cruise upward, I think, fairly easily at this point. Now, there are two weekly resistances here at 3.2 cents, and you have one at 4 cents. So the rest of these orange marks are daily resistances. Now, keep in mind, I like to say that a daily resistance is probably about 7 times less strong than a weekly, just because there's 7 days in a week. So I do think we can cut through these orange ones like a butter knife. But, you know, these green ones will be a little bit stronger. But keep in mind, there still isn't much volume up here. There hasn't been much trading just because this is a very new coin, guys. So keep in mind, it may be a weekly resistance, but it's nothing, for example, like a Polkadot weekly resistance where you have multiple years of trading. This has only been trading since middle of December. Now, taking a quick look at the Bollinger Bands, you can see that there is a little bit of a pinch here, guys, and that's kind of why we're getting a little bit of a pop here, I think. Now, on a daily time frame, let's take a look here. It is widening a bit, but you can see there was a pinch basically on 27th of June. That's when we did the last video. So, yeah, it has widened a bit, but in my opinion, Bollinger Bands look pretty good here. Looking at the RSI and stochastic, guys, you can see the stoch is just printing the first week here, so it's not really anything to consider, but it does show that it is overheated at 100, and the RSI is actually moving to the upside. Now, if we look at the daily time frame, actually has just crossed over the red line here, so that looks pretty good, but the RSI is a little bit overheated. Now, the 4 hour time frame, both the RSI and the stoch are overheated and pointed down, so not the best there. Now, 1 hour time frame, it is actually oversold and about to cross to the upside here on the stochastic. Now, the RSI is pointed down though. It just got out of the overheated territory, so it may cool down just a little bit more in the 1 hour time frame. 15 minute getting into that oversold territory again, and the RSI is pointed slightly down. So the 15 minute and the 1 hour, guys, I'm guessing that soon you're going to see a little bit of movement up here. The middle, time frame, like the 4 hour, not so good. Probably going to see kind of cool off. But long term, guys, I just think that, PENGU is going to be one of the better meme coins. Looking at this on the daily, it still has some room to move. And weekly, you just don't know because the stochastic really isn't printing, but the RSI is moving up. So I do think, this is primed to move up, in my opinion. Looking at one more indicator here, the MEXC, guys, you can see that we are getting this green dark candle, and it is a little bit bigger than the previous day on the daily time frame. So again, I think we're in for another green wave here. If we go back in history, this isn't as high as it's ever been, but it's never really been that high. Keep in mind, this is a very new coin, guys. So yeah, I do think it can move a lot higher on the MACD. It has just pointed itself to the upside here in the last day. So yeah, I do think the MACD looks good in my opinion. I really think we're going to get this second wave. Probably going to be a little bit bigger wave in my opinion, just because we see a lot of alts and Bitcoin surging. Now looking at the tokenomics of PENGU here, we have the number 87 coin in existence, guys. There is 88.8 billion of this coin now. I like to say that, I like to keep my coins under about 10 billion. However, this is something between like a meme coin and a serious coin. If you go to Pudgy Penguins here, guys, they sell NFTs and things like that there. I think this is a more serious coin, actually, in my opinion. And that's why I have some. Now, the all-time high was about 6.8 cents. I sold the airdrop at 6.2 cents, I believe, or 3 cents. And, you see we're only 72% down from that point. Now, I have been DCAing into this since about 3 cents, guys. My first buyback after I sold airdrop was at around 3 cents. Now, I've been just buying little pieces of this, and I only have 3,000 PENGU. I know that's not much, guys, but at one time, this was my lowest bag, and it had around like $20 or $22, $23 or something like this, and now it's almost tripled. So that's a good thing. I do think this coin is going to go a lot higher. I think this is one of the more serious meme coins. If you're looking for a meme coin, this isn't a bad pickup in my opinion. Now, before I go a little farther in this video, guys, I want you to know that you can claim some bonuses on my favorite crypto exchanges below. I have exchange partnerships with Bybit, Bitget, MEXC, BingX, Bitrue, BTC, Unix, WeX, Blowfin, BTCC. You can also find that I do have Moodix here. You can get a free 7-day trial, and you can follow me on X here, guys. Now, we need to talk about Bitcoin, guys. It has made a new all-time high once again today, and it didn't just squeak it out, guys. All-time high, according to Binance, is 113,788. Now, on some exchanges, it hit 114. So it just depends where you want to take this from. But we do have a new all-time high. Now, this yellow line I want to mention is from that huge cup and handle that Bitcoin made over years and years and years. I don't want to scroll back and look at this and show you. Just take my word for it, guys. But you can see some of my videos way back. We talk about this cup and handle. Now, it has just reached this target, so we can get rid of this now. I think we can just, get rid of it, to make this a little bit more free of drawings. But we have, just reached that target. So let's see if today we can remain over this line at 111,865. If we can, that is a sign, guys, that we are in for the next leg, I believe. Also, we need to talk about Ethereum here. Now, actually, I would say Bitcoin looks a little bit better in the last 24 hours than Ethereum. However, if Ethereum closes above, 28.25, then I think that will be a signal that Ethereum is also going to see another surge as well. We have to take out this local high here from June 10th and 11th, basically. So once we do that, if we can get above 29.25, I think it's for sure. But if we can just close, I think today, about $20 higher, $21 higher, I think that's probably a good enough sign that Ethereum is going to, move to the upside as well as Bitcoin. Now, looking at the total market cap, guys, we're at 1.22 trillion. We need to move up to 1.25 trillion and start hitting that a little bit and break through it. Now, if we go to the CME futures, we just crossed this line yesterday and sealed a candle above it at 111,520. So I do think we're going to seal another candle above that. I think that's a great sign, as I said yesterday. And the dominance is actually making a green candle today, but it's a very small green candle. It's still got 5 hours basically. And like I said, Bitcoin does look a little bit better than Ethereum at the moment. Now, there's going to be green candles along the way, of course. We're not just going to have, 100 reds in a row. We need to cross 64.33 first, and then we need to get below this trend line, which goes back like 2 3/4 to 3 years, guys. And then we need to get down to the 60.46 mark down here. If we cross that, then I'll say, okay, it's finally altcoin season. It also looks like the USDT dominance is coming down. That is a good thing to see. It's 3 days in a row now. People are actually spending their USDT. So next, support on a weekly time frame, 4.31%. Let's see if we can get, below that soon. Now, the dollar index is getting a little bit of a pump today. It's just barely above 97.6, but yesterday it did get that red candle, did get resistance, and like I said, there's still a lot of time today, so we have 4 hours and 8 minutes still, so this can definitely end up just a wick basically. So let's see what happens with that. Now, altcoin season index, I refreshed this right before the video, guys, and it was 24. It's been a 24 since yesterday. I don't know what's going on. We just had 5 days in a row of red candles, so I'm not sure why this is not going up in at least maybe like a 29 or a 30, but anyways, we'll see. Maybe it'll refresh itself later today. Now, liquidation heat map, you are seeing a lot of liquidations right now, mainly shorts, and 650 million people, or not people, $1 million have been wrecked. But yeah, that's really a lot, and it's not the most we've ever seen, but it's up there. Now, taking a look at the fear and greed, it's a 71 right now. It did go up yesterday from a 66. And if we look at the bull market peak indicator, sell at the top, it's still 0 from 30. We have gotten below 65% on the dominance here. So here it has 63.81. That's the lowest I've seen it on this chart at the moment. But anyways, it's still 100% hold. Now, the best indicator in my opinion is the Pi Cycle Top indicator, and it's still very, very far from crossing, guys, as you can see. For me, the green line looks like it still wants to go up, while the orange line is trying to catch up to it and cross it. Taking a look at the economic calendar, pretty much today we got good jobless claims numbers, and we had a couple of speakers today. Now tomorrow, we have basically nothing going on economically. Now, if we take a look at Moodyx, you can see the jobless claims. Like I said, it was a small positive, wasn't major or anything. This isn't big numbers now, guys. We're not seeing major numbers like in February and March and April. But yeah, it was good. Now we do have basically a risk on sentiment. The trend is now growing. Now yesterday it was actually fading, and it was still risk on, but it was a light green. So now it's dark green again. Today was actually a good, nice green day, but the week and month are still slightly negative, but the year is quite positive still. Now, if we take a look at FedWatch Tools, it shows about a 93.3% chance of no cut, where there's a 6.7% chance of a cut. Now, Trueflation shows 1.68% inflation. That's slightly up from yesterday. I think it was 1.66 or 7 or something like this. But that's very, very low. That's what the Fed needs to see. Now, Trump is calling for like a 3 basis point cut, which is insane. But I am in agreement that we do need to cut, and we do need to cut fast, especially if we're seeing 1.68% inflation. Now, Crypto Bubbles actually looks pretty good today. Pretty much everything is in the green, at least on the day. Now, the last hour, it is a little bit red, but let's keep it on the day. If you want to go to Coinondo, they don't actually have anything with Pudgy penguins here. I know you can stake in Binance, though, and I'm not sure what the percentage is right now. Usually it's flexible, and it kind of changes, rapidly. But anyways, if you like this video, guys, like, subscribe, activate the bell, share this video with your friends, guys. And like I said, check out those exchange partnerships that I have below. If you use those links, it gives me, of course, some commission, helps me, keep this channel going. And I really appreciate it, guys, for those of you who have used my links. And guys, I will see you in the next one.